how cool would it be to just take a shot and then all of a sudden weight loss is just automatic? You don't have to think about it. You don't have to discipline yourself. You don't have to work with any diets or workouts. It's just easy. It's just simple. It just takes care of itself. That's the huge appeal with Ozempic, is that it's basically a shot and the weight loss just, well, it happens. Well, what if you could actually do the same thing without taking a shot? What if you could actually wire your brain, especially if you're a mom and you have mom brain? What if you could wire your mom brain so that the weight loss is just automatic? It just happens. Well, that's what we're going to be doing in this series called Momzempic. Welcome to Mom Mastery University, the education every mom should have had, but, well, didn't. I'm Hannah Keeley, America's #1 mom coach, and class is now in session. Hey there, I know you've heard about Ozempic, all the GLP-1s, the magic of being able to take a shot once a week. And the weight loss just happens. I'm going to be talking about how that actually works, how the GLP-1s work in your body. But also, my goal is that we basically do the same thing in your brain. See, the mom brain is wired a certain way, and I'm going to share that with you. But also, weight loss can be wired as well. So what if we could take your brain and wire it so that it actually makes your body lose weight? And you don't have to do a lot of thinking about it. You don't have to do a lot of, the disciplining happens in your thoughts. But it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be, I screwed up my diet, or, I have to do without, or I have to constantly be hungry. It's not that. It's just that the weight loss happens because you've done the thought work and you've wired your brain to make your body believe in losing weight. Well, that is what we're going to be doing. But first, before we even go into the Momzempic and wiring the brain, we need to talk about the brain. So let me share with you a little bit about mom brain, okay? Because this is part 1, and we're going to be talking about how to make it last. Now, usually I talk about how to sustain something, how to make it last in the last module, but there's a reason I want to talk about it in the first module, is because it sets the stage on how you're going to wire your brain to lose weight if you're a mom. Now, if you're not a mom, this may work for you, but it's designed to work with the mom brain. You see, I know if you've seen anything from me or heard my podcast or listened to me for any amount of time, you've had to have heard about mom brain. So very quickly, a woman's brain does change when she has a baby. There's actually a 4% loss in gray matter. So you actually come out of that hospital. If you went to the hospital to have a baby, you come out with less brains than you went in with. Not good news, right? When you're now tasked with taking care of a human life. But it happens because the priority of your brain now becomes, instead of keeping you alive, the priority of your brain is keeping your child alive. And because of that, we are so much more distracted. We lose focus. We start things we can't finish it because our brain is always subconsciously scanning the environment for potential threats for our children, for our family. That's why we always imagine worst case scenarios. That's why we imagine horrific things over our family, because our brain is constantly in prep mode, preparing for any catastrophe, any tragedy, because we're now tasked with keeping a human life alive. So that becomes the first priority of your brain. That's why self-care is so hard for moms, because it goes against the wiring of the mom brain. The mom brain now is wired to not care about you anymore. That's why, it is hard to actually take care of yourself. It's hard to take time away to go get your hair done or spend time at the gym, because it's so low on the priority system that is ingrained in your brain now, which is also why weight loss becomes so hard after you have a baby, because it goes against the wiring of the mom brain. Remember, the priority of the mom brain is to keep your children alive, keep them healthy, keep them clothed and dressed and feeling and looking and being their best, right? Not you. So if you manage to, carry a certain weight and weight loss wasn't hard and you were active and you were disciplined in your eating and you ate healthy, but then all of a sudden as a mom, you're like, where's this extra weight coming from? Why am I putting on pounds when I didn't struggle with this before? It's because your mom brain is no longer wired to take care of you. So we lose the discipline with our eating. We eat more because, of course, stress, because we're always imagining worst case scenarios and we're always like frantically scanning the environment. Your stress level, the adrenaline, the cortisol levels, those skyrocket in a mom because of the wiring of the mom brain. So what do we do when there's stress? Is we tend to eat. Now, this is an evolutionary response because in stressful times when there was like cold fronts coming through, lack of food reserves, we would want to eat as much as possible to store the food in a form of fat so that we could survive harsh times. So these two factors are working against you. Number one, your brain is not designed to take care of you anymore, which is why we lose a discipline to eat healthy. That's why we're no longer motivated to take care of ourselves. Okay, number one. Now, number two is mom stress. Stress increases as a mom. I explained why, but eating is an ingrained response to that stress. So with these two factors working against you already, you can see why weight gain for a mom it just makes sense. It just follows the wiring of the mom brain. So if you have some pounds to lose, if you have put on weight after the children, I don't want you to think about this as I failed or I'm not disciplined or is something I can't change. None of that is true. What is true is it's showing your mom brain in action. So now we're going to learn in this series how to wire our mom brain for weight loss instead of weight gain. We're going to actually reverse the synaptic connections that are already there to gain weight and shift them just a little. So now you're going to be able to lose weight. So it's almost like taking a shot, right? Because like if you work with these thoughts, it's going to put weight loss on a subconscious level. So it's not something you have to really work hard at. It's something that you have to be disciplined enough to practice. Now think about it with Ozempic, right? I'll explain how the GLP-1s work. With Ozempic, you have to be disciplined to take a shot every single week, right? So what if that was the discipline? Not the discipline on I need to make sure I'm counting my macros, or I need to make sure I'm weighing my food or counting my calories, or I'm making sure I get my exercise. And it's not that kind of discipline. It's a discipline that comes with taking that shot in your brain to wire the mom brain for weight loss. So that's going to be the discipline. Now, this is making it last. I want to talk about the sustainability of this program. Now, as you go through, we're going to work with 3 different wired thoughts in your brain to help you lose weight on a subconscious level. But the important thing is, just like Ozempic doesn't work unless you inject it in your body, this system is not going to work unless you inject it in your brain. So we have to have the discipline to practice these thoughts over and over and over. And I'll give you some ways to do that. But we're going to dive into this by understanding the same processes that make Ozempic work in your body. These thoughts are going to work the same way in your brain. How cool is that? Like imagine I just had to work in my brain and the weight will just fall off. Well, it can actually be that simple. So I want to share this with you. Ozempic works by mimicking a naturally occurring hormone called GLP-1. Now, I know you've heard about the GLP-1s, right? Now, what that stands for is glucagon-like peptide 1, GLP-1. Now, this is how it works. It signals to the body that it's full. So it's like that peptide that tells your brain you're already full. Okay, so it suppresses your appetite and it controls blood sugar levels by stimulating the pancreas to produce more insulin. So it slows down the stomach emptying. So all the peristaltic activity in your stomach going through your intestines, all of that is slowed down, right? It reduces the liver's release of glucose, essentially making you feel fuller longer. So that leads to reduced calorie intake and hence the weight loss. So now that we know how it works, how are we going to mimic this in our brain? Well, that's what we're going to do, because you can, if you work with your brain and learn how to wire these thoughts, the weight loss will happen subconsciously. And that's our goal. Remember, the goal here inside Mom Master University is never to change your behavior, is to change your belief that results in changing how you feel, which then will change your behavior. That's why the success rate here inside Mom Master University is so dramatic. We have so many moms who are really shocked at how much they get accomplished when they enroll in Mom Master University. It could be weight loss. It could be keeping a clean, organized home. It could be, very powerful, positive parenting. Wow, that was a lot of P's there. It could be, changing how you parent your children. But we have found with all of this that when you get to a core belief and change the way your brain thinks. Now we're battling mom brain, and there's no other platform in the world designed to work with mom brain like Mom Master University. All of our coaching here is designed to get to your mom brain to work with shifting beliefs, which will help you shift the way you feel. For example, why do you, like when you're cleaning up your home, when you're decluttering, you do that because you feel like doing it. When you get down to it, you do what you feel like doing. And guess what? When you don't declutter and when you don't clean up, it's because why? You don't feel like it. Now, instead of going by your feelings, what we do is we go to the belief that created the feelings. So that's exactly what we're doing inside this series called Momzempic, is we're going to the belief that is ingrained in your brain. You can actually look at it under a microscope. You can see the thought. You can see the synapses firing. You can see the dendritic connections in your brain. Like you can see a thought being created and a thought being destroyed. So we're going to destroy the thoughts that are keeping the weight on, and we're going to create the thoughts. Well, that will help you get the weight off. Now, we are going to work with 3 thoughts, and we're going to do that in modules 2, 3, and 4. This module, I want to help you understand that whether you are carrying extra weight or not, it is not a failure on your part, okay? Whether you are, no matter what, like, yes, the weight gain, but also maybe you have gotten in a lot of debt. Maybe you've really been like yelling at your kids, and you don't like how you're parenting. You don't like how you're showing up as a mom. Maybe it's just you've got let the house get out of control. The laundry's stacked up, whatever it looks like. We are so hard on ourselves as moms. Oh my gosh. We are our own worst critics. So what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to get rid of the guilt that is not invited on this journey, because guilt will keep the weight on as a form of self-punishment. Did you know that? If you carry a lot of mom guilt, chances are that has contributed to the weight gain because it's a way of punishing yourself. So guilt's going to stay behind. Guilt is not going to come along with us on this journey. It is not invited. So I want you right now to consciously let that guilt go. Say, it's not me, it's my brain. I say that all the time. It's not me. I'm not a failure. I'm not lazy. I'm not mean-spirited. That's not me. It's just my brain doing what it does best as a mom. Okay. Now, as long as we know that, we can let the guilt go and move into a new way of thinking that's going to contribute to weight loss. It's going to help you change how you see yourself, change how you how you feel about your body chemistry, change how you feel in your body, and that's going to help you lose weight. But guilt is gone. So can we agree right now together? Guilt is gone. Okay. I don't want you to look in the mirror again and hate what you see. I don't want you to punish yourself for what you see. I don't want you to get down on yourself for what you see, because it's merely your body's expression of what your brain is already thinking. And sometimes here's this amazing thing that happens with moms. I see it a lot. And it's the reason a lot of moms gain weight is because we have so much to do. Now I'm going to explain this, but think about it. As a mom, how many times do you think it's just too much? How many times do you think that? Or maybe you think, wow, this is a lot. Or I can't handle all this stuff. When you look at everything you do as a mom, from raising your kids, taking care of your family, a lot of us are working in the home or working out of the home, so we're carrying the financial burden as well. When you think about all the things you have to do, and everything on social media, of course, says you could be doing so much more, your brain has a tendency to think, this is a lot, I have a lot to do, there's a lot on me, and guess what your brain will also do? I must become bigger so I can handle a bigger load. So one reason, a subconscious reason that you may be struggling with your weight is because your brain has sent a subconscious signal to your body that you need to expand who you are so you can take on such a big load. Isn't that amazing? You see, your brain's like, this is a lot. I'm faced with a lot. House, money, kids, involvement, my work, my career, everything. So what happens? I eat so I become bigger so I can handle a bigger load. I know, like logically, of course, we'll say that doesn't make sense. But the brain isn't very logical. I'm sure you realize that by now. The brain is not logical. The brain is surviving. And if it thinks you need to become bigger to handle a bigger load, guess what? There ain't no diet in the world that can combat the subconscious belief that you need to expand. No diet. So we're going to let the guilt go. It is simply your brain telling your body it needs to hold on to weight for survival, or it needs to expand your body in order to handle all of life's obligations. But either way, it is. And so we're not going to try to change what is. We're just going to see what is, and we're aware of it. And we're like, okay, it's just extra weight. It's just more of my body. And it expanded, and now it can retract. But I'm not going to let guilt come along on the journey. Now, how we're going to make this last, because these thoughts I'm going to share with you in modules 2, 3, and 4 are very powerful thoughts if you really understand how to wire them into your mom brain. Before we do that, I want you to understand that no method will work unless you work the method. You can fill up an Ozempic prescription, but unless you inject it in your body, it won't work. So you can go through this entire series, but unless you continually inject it in your brain, it will not work. I want to share with you something. This comes from Colossians 3:2, and it says this: set your minds and keep them set on what is above, the higher things, not on the things that are on the earth. What that is saying is everything that you can touch, feel, see, hear, taste, everything you can observe on the earthly realm. And is your body one of those things? Yes, it is. You can observe a muffin top. You can observe too tight clothes. You can observe flabby arms. You can observe all of that. But it was created out of what you cannot see. So everything you see in your body, whether it's the nice toned abs or whether it's a muffin top, whether it's nice toned arms or whether it's flabby, whatever, it came out of what you can't see, which is your brain. Now, how do we change that? We set our minds and keep them set. See, the classic amplified version of Colossians 3:2, I think really clearly communicates the tense of that verb, because the tense of that verb is not just like you do it one time. For example, jump rope. If you think of jump rope, it's not jumping over a rope. It's jump, 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 right? We understand that. If you say, hey, can you jump rope for 3 minutes, right? We understand what that means. I'm not just going to jump over a rope. It means I'm going to jump and I'm going to keep jumping. So that same tense of that verb is the one that says that covers this verse where it's set your minds. So we set our minds and we keep it set. We set it, we set it, we set it, we set it, we set it. How does Ozempic work? You take a shot, you take a shot, you take a shot, you take a shot. Now we're going to do the same thing in this series is we're going to really wire in these thoughts, but we don't wire them in one and then we're finished. It's not a one and done thing. We're going to wire, set your mind, set your mind, set your mind, set your mind. So can we just agree right now on these things? No guilt. And number 2 is going to be a continual process. We set our minds and we keep it set by setting it and setting it and setting it and setting it. So these thoughts that you're going to grasp in modules 2, 3, 4 are going to be something you practice over and over and over. And you keep practicing and you keep practicing. I tell myself these all day long. I tell myself other thoughts all day long because I become very proactive in designing my life by designing my thoughts. And that's what we're doing in this Momzempic series is we're designing our bodies by designing our thoughts. So that's why this number 1 is called making it last. Because we have to understand this is something I'm going to agree to and continually agree to while it comes to pass in my body. So can we agree to that? Can you do that? All right. So remember, this is just one part of what we're doing here inside Mom Master University. If you're not a member of Mom Master University, you're missing out on the continual work. So you go in after this series and get your workbook. And then there's an additional training there on how to implement this. Because if you're just listening to this part and that's it, you're only getting 1/3 of it. Inside Mom Master University, you get the workbook and you get the additional video training and you get to be part of a community that's doing it all together because you become like the people you hang around. So I want to encourage you to make sure you get all of the assets that go along with this series by getting inside Mom Master University. If you're a member, make sure you get inside and you do the work to make it last. But if you're not a member, why not? You don't just have the additional implementation of what you get here, but you also get access to a vault of over 400 coaching programs and you get on your master track, which is the beauty of how Mom Master University works. So it is designed to work with you, meet you where you are, and you can choose from one of 6 master tracks. It's like a major, and start to make progress inside the university. So make sure if you are not a member, you become a member today. And if you are a member, go ahead and get inside. I'll see you inside MMU where we do the work. So what about you, Mama? Are you ready to enroll in the only school that will not only change your life, but also your legacy? Go to Mom Mastery University, where we dive deep into the biblical principles that give ordinary moms extraordinary results. Get enrolled today.